voice of Martin Luther King says, what about me? Let me in, let everybody in, everybody in, everybody into the circle, circle, everybody, 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 everybody into the circle, circle, constraint, rich and poor, old and broken, open up that door. The more we are, the greater we become. After all, we all are one. Bring in the people, but don't stop there. Bring in the fish in the sea and the birds in the air. Bring in the rivers wide and mountains tall. We go together, we're not at all. Let everybody in, everybody in, everybody into the circle, circle. Everybody, 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 everybody into the circle, circle. Everybody in, everybody in, everybody into the circle, circle. Everybody, 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 everybody into the circle, circle.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is John Dozel, and I'm a member. My name is John Dozel. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of this congregation. Welcome to all of you. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart is a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual spiritual and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. If you would like to learn more about this fellowship, please look at our website at uufe.org and join us after this service for our potluck. For the listening enjoyment of all, we ask you at this time to please turn off all cell phones. Also, if you need hearing support, please ask for help at the sound desk in the back there. They do have. Can you guys hear me okay?
It's on. Just
Hello, okay. All right. All of that was basically to say welcome. We're all here. Sorry about that. All right, a few announcements. Please stop by Ivy Island for two things. The sign-up sheet for flowers and snacks is not updated to include October and November. Please sign up at least 2 weeks ahead if possible so we can get your names in the order of service. The second item is a sign-up sheet for this fall's roadside cleanup on County Road 9. It will be on Saturday, October 25th, with a rain date of November 1st. Chuck Bauer and Reverend Dan will host another small group meeting to ask for feedback regarding the 3-year plan developed by the board and attending committee chairs. This first meeting was last Friday night, but for those who couldn't make that meeting, please see Chuck or Reverend Dan to sign up for a Zoom meeting on Friday, September 26th, this coming Friday, at 6:30 p.m. Advise Chuck if you need to be provided with the Zoom link for that meeting. Please mark Wednesday, October 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. on your calendars. Lisa Coop, Director of Legal Services at the National Immigrant Justice Center, will come to UUFE to speak on immigrant protection. This presentation is intended to help all local community members know their rights and understand what ICE is and is not permitted to do, and what legalities ICE must follow: ID themselves, show their faces, show warrants, etc. We will discuss strategies community members may consider in response to ICE activities. Please come to learn how we can deal with the difficult problems and support our neighbors in their time of need. We hope to fill the gathering place with invited guests from several other churches, including the Hispanic Fellowship of Madro Boulevard. Thank you.
Breathe in this day, this moment, this community. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life journey, you're welcome here. Whomever you love, wherever you were born, whatever language you speak, you are welcome here. Whatever your skin color, whatever your class background, whatever your range of abilities, you are welcome here. And we're so glad that you chose our fellowship as your place of worship this morning. Because we come together for worship in order to slow down and listen for the callings of our hearts, our spirits. We come together for worship so that we can be reminded of our highest aspirations and continue to transform ourselves into our best selves. So we gather today to practice hospitality of the Spirit. Here there is room for your doubts, your dreams, and for your differences and your delights. This is a place where we do not just say, "Come as you are," we mean it. So let us open our hearts, open it wide, open our circle wide, and discover what new gifts may enter when we welcome each other fully. So let us enter worship together.
We light this chalice this morning to remind us that every person who enters these doors brings a spark of the holy. Together our light grows brighter when we honor each story, each struggle, each joy. May this flame be our commitment to radical welcome, not only to greet, but to embrace, not only to invite, but to include, not only to accept, but to celebrate. Would you recite with me now the unison covenant as printed in your order of service? Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. Hymn number 347, Gather the Spirit. Would you please stand and sing if you're willing and able?
a story for you today. The Messiah is among us. There once was a monastery that had fallen on hard times. As the years passed, there were fewer and fewer novices, and some of the younger monks began leaving in dissatisfaction. Few people from the surrounding villages would even visit anymore. And eventually, only a handful of elderly monks remained, and they argued amongst themselves, each blaming the monastery's decline on the faults and failings of the others. Their leader, the abbot, didn't know what to do. Now, an old friend of the abbot was a rabbi who had recently retired to live in a small cottage near the monastery. And after years of only seeing one another when the abbot had cause to travel into town, they were able to renew their friendship with more regular visits. The rabbi and the abbot would sit together, drinking tea and remembering the good old days back when they were both students. On one of his visits to see the rabbi, the abbot brought up the problems at the monastery. This was not the first time the rabbi had heard about the situation that so troubled his friend, but this time the abbot specifically asked for advice, particularly something that he could share with the other monks that might encourage them and perhaps even stop them from fighting with each other. Hearing the abbot's question, the rabbi new glasses. No laughing. The rabbi was quiet for some time, and he was sipping his tea as he thought. And as the silence stretched on, the abbot couldn't contain himself. "Don't you have some advice that might save my monastery?" he begged his friend. "Your monks will not listen to my advice," the rabbi replied, somewhat sadly. "But perhaps they would benefit from an observation." "Yes," said the abbot hopefully. "Have you noticed something about the monastery that we ourselves have not?" "I think so," answered the rabbi. "And it is this: the Messiah is among you." The abbot was initially lost for words. It seemed an outrageous claim, but he trusted his friend. So when he regained his composure, he asked as respectfully as he could, "The Messiah is among us? But who is it?" "As to that," the rabbi replied, "I cannot say, but I know that it is true beyond all doubt. The Messiah is among you. Share this with your monks, and in time the truth will be revealed." Well, the abbot couldn't wait to get back to the monastery. Taking one last gulp of tea, he thanked his friend profusely and jumped out of his chair, and he grabbed his coat. And while even taking the time to put it on, he ran out of the cottage and across the meadow. Arriving breathlessly back at the monastery, he managed to convey to the first monk he saw that he wanted everyone to meet in the chapel. By the time they had arrived, he had recovered enough to address them. "My brothers," said the abbot, "I have incredible news. I have just been told without any room for doubt or question that the Messiah is among you." The monks immediately started talking. "One of us? Here? But who? How can that be?" Raising his hands to quiet them, the abbot explained what the rabbi had told him, and then instructed them to be about their work while they reflected on the amazing news. And as the monks did their chores, each wondered to himself who it was, but none of them came to any conclusions. Still, they realized that they could sometimes see the Messiah in one another's faces. They could sometimes hear the Messiah in one another's voices, and they began to treat one another more kindly and more fairly, just in case. And as time passed, the villagers noticed something different about the monastery, and they began visiting more, and more of the young men who came to inquire about training as novices decided to stay. And the elderly monks and their abbot found themselves at peace, content to enjoy their golden years, doing what they loved, while all about them the monastery thrived. So this story makes me wonder, what would happen if we started treating each other as if we were all the Messiah? Even old-timers, even visitors, even ourselves. What if we started holding others and ourselves in higher esteem and welcoming them as if they were the Messiah? Okay, well, maybe not the Messiah, but you get the message. Can you imagine how radical that would be? Think about that as we sing our next hymn, 134, Our World is One World. We'll have a video and we'll just sing along with it.
Our world is one world. What touches one affects us all. The seas that wash us round about, the clouds that cover us, the rains that fall. Our world is one world. The thoughts we think affect us all. The way we build our attitudes with love or hate we make, a bridge or wall. Our world is one world. Its ways of wealth affect us all. The way we spend, the way we share, who are the rich or poor, who stand or fall. Our world is one world, just like a ship that bears us all, where fear and greed make many holes, but where our hearts can hear a different call.
I rarely have to lift the microphone.
It's on.
Sure, I didn't know that was my job. It's time for children to go to RE. I was laid up here for 2 things, I didn't even know it. Now is the time in our service when we share with each other what is on our hearts, joys and sorrows, anniversaries, concerns, celebrations. If there's something that you would like to share with us, know that it will not be recorded for YouTube later. It will just be shared here and on Zoom.
Please join me in a moment of internal reflection and settling. Spirit of life, source of love. We pause to remember the times we have fallen short, when fear made our welcome small, when comfort made our circle tight, when our words or silence caused another to feel unseen. We breathe now into a larger love, a love that stretches beyond habit and custom, a love that makes room for stories unlike our own, a love that whispers, "You too belong here." Help us to see in every face a reflection of the holy, in the neighbor who is like us, and in the stranger who challenges us, in the child who asks hard questions, in the elder whose wisdom comes wrapped in wrinkles, in those whose bodies move differently, in those whose loves and lives expand our imagination of family. Grant us courage to listen more than we speak. Grant us humility to learn from those we once called other. Grant us compassion when our patience runs thin, and forgiveness when we stumble on the path of welcome. May we not only open our doors, but also our hearts, our minds, our ways of being. May our circle keep widening until no one is left outside. And may we find joy, true, abundant joy, in the weaving of a community where each voice is treasured, each gift honored, and all belong. Blessed be. Now please remain seated as we sing hymn 1031 in the Teal hymn book. May I be filled with loving kindness.
I wanted to read something that's in the bulletin I left on the As we prepare to receive the offering this morning, let us reflect on the words of Unitarian Universalist minister Reverend Rebecca Parker. Our vocation is to love the world. Through our own giving, we love, we heal, we transform, and we bless the world with our gifts. Today's offering we're going to be sharing with the Elkhart County Humane Society. And please enjoy the Draw the Circle Wide video as we gather our offering. Thank you.
Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one is alone, we'll be side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one is alone, we'll be side by side. Draw the circle wide.
Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one is alone, we'll be side by side.
No one is alone.
Draw the circle wide.
Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one is alone, we'll be side by side. No one is alone. Draw the circle wide.
In your sadness and in your grief, from the pain it seems there's no relief. We will hold you till the storm subsides. Draw the circle wide.
Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one is alone, we are side by side. No one is alone. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still.
the circle. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle
Draw it this wide.
People ask me sometimes, is this a gay church? It is a privilege to answer. Ours is absolutely, gladly, hopefully, and humbly, gaily, a gay church. A gay tradition where everyone, including heterosexual members and friends, is welcome, where everyone is needed, where everyone's experience is cherished as a sacred text. Because no one's experience of living or loving can be comprehensive. Because each of us holds clues the others need about how to live with dignity and joy as a human person. And none of us knows enough about that yet to be considered whole. It is absolutely a gay church, even as ours is a gay world. If you would look around, gay church, straight church, people's church, a human congregation, made holy by the holy hopes and fears and dreams of all who wish to come. Come in, we say. Come out, come in. We're all in this together. I will not speak of tolerance with its courteous clenched teeth and bitter resignation. I will not speak about acceptance of other people and some other kind of lifestyle. I can only look in laughing wonder at all human life in all its incarnations. I can taste only in passing the breath of the spirit of life on my mouth and understand our common longing to breathe in deep, deep gulps of it. I cannot think of being anybody else's ally, even because even that implies some degree of separation, some degree of safety for some of us, not all. We are allied with no one and with nothing but love. The larger love transcending in all our understanding, within which all the differing, gorgeously variant, beautifully deviant aspects of ourselves are bound in elegant unity. I know that on some sad and disappointing days, these words describe the church that yet shall be, and not the church that is. I know. But I know too that to answer is an act of creation. To answer this question and some others is a privilege, a prophetic imperative, a joy, a duty, and a holy sacrament.
Thank you, Steve. UUFE is a warm and welcoming place. Folks here are sincerely happy to greet old and new friends alike in meetings, social events, and on Sunday mornings. And there is a sense of genuine care that just screams friendliness. And I just love how your faces light up whenever you see each other. So yes, we are a friendly bunch. But I want to encourage us to think about taking our friendliness to a higher level and begin to engage in what's called radical welcome, or the spiritual practice of hospitality. Radical welcome is the practice of maintaining an active and intentional openness to people who are different than us. It means that we welcome every newcomer without judgments or assumptions, and that we appreciate them for who they are and what they bring to our community. It's about creating a sense of belonging for every person every time they come, regardless of race, sexual orientation, gender identity, class, ability, or other identity characteristics. Some here might say, but we already do that. Maybe to a certain extent. However, part of my job is to challenge you to go outside of your comfort zone and maybe help you stretch your hearts and your minds a little bit. So I offer you this to consider. It is true that you welcomed me, a transgender person, to be your minister, and you welcomed me with open arms. And I am so very delighted that you did. It clearly demonstrates the growth in spiritual maturity that you have achieved and the hard work that you've done. Frankly, I had wondered if I would ever be called to serve a congregation. Shortly after I began transitioning in 2011, I was told by a UU minister that I would have a snowball's chance in hell of ever getting my own congregation. He said that UU churches just weren't ready to accept a trans minister. Of course, I was crushed by that statement, but never let it stop me. And now here I am. And you all have been amazingly welcoming, and I'm so proud of the work that you've done. But I have to wonder. I have to wonder if things would have been different if I was not perceived as a cisgender hetero male. Let's be honest, I don't look trans, right? Most people, if not all, would never know I am unless I told them. I think my presentation offers me a certain kind of privilege that other trans folks may not have. Because of this, I wonder how it might have gone if instead of appearing as I do as a straight, white, average, middle-aged male who follows social norms in how I dress and behave, what if I were more gender fluid? What if I wore lipstick, fingernail polish, or dyed my hair half blue and half green? No, that's my sister. No. But so what if I wore a dress while sporting this beard? Probably a few more folks might have felt uneasy. And what if I did that and was black as well? And that might be too much for some. And what if I was flaming gay in all my fabulous, sparkly glitter gayness? What if I were 25 on the spectrum? And what if I was all those things and also used a wheelchair? Would it have been different? With each difference, I suspect it would have been more difficult for people to accept me. People would have been friendly, yes. But with having all or some of these intersecting and non-dominant culture identities, by the way, I know someone like this. They exist. But without having all those intersecting and non-dominant culture identities, would I have been welcomed with the same intensity and genuine sincerity? I would like to think that some folks would. A few of you excel at it. But I think most would struggle. And that's not just here. I think it would be a struggle in most congregations. Now, I'm not saying this to disparage anyone. As I said, you are amazing, caring group of people. And you have kind hearts. And you have generous souls. And I love you. It's been my experience that most folks are okay enough with accepting and welcoming someone who is different from them in just one way. Be that gender, race, class, ability, age, whatever. But the more differences that there are, the more difficult it becomes to truly welcome the other. And this is where the radical part of radical welcoming and hospitality comes into play. I think we do a good job of welcoming people who are like us or somewhat like us, but to engage in radical welcome and the spiritual practice of hospitality requires that we move beyond just being friendly to developing an environment that transcends barriers and norms. With radical welcome, there ceases to be us and them. There is just we. Radical welcome requires us to embrace authentic relationships by making space for those who may not look, act, or think like us. It is to truly employ the platinum rule. Do unto others as they would have you do unto them. Do unto others as they would have you do unto them. Because how I want to be treated isn't necessarily how you want to be treated, or how a visitor might want to be treated. And the only way to know how someone wants to be treated is to get to know them in a real way. But how do we do this? It has been more than just greeting visitors with, it has to be more than just greeting visitors with a hearty hello, a smile, giving them a folder with handouts about UUism and our fellowship, and inviting them to join a committee. It's not, you laugh, it's true. It's not about appointing people to do certain welcoming tasks on Sundays. It's not just up to the greeters or the ushers or the social hour hosts, nor is it up to the membership committee, and it definitely isn't up to me. To truly accept others means to invite them into our lives as full and equal participants. We must move beyond just being polite and nice. We, and I mean we as individual congregations and the denomination as a whole, we need to rewrite our tired old script of, we sincerely welcome you into our church. We're good people and we do good things. You're welcome to come and do good things with us, but we don't like change. We've always done things in a certain way, and we're happy to show you how to do it too. You can believe anything you want here, and you're welcome to join a committee because we could use the help. We have a beloved community, so we'll be happy to talk to you if you initiate, and we promise not to bother you because we don't want to scare you away. Okay, you're probably chuckling, but it's true, right? Radical welcome goes beyond just being friendly. It's intentional action. Intentional action to create deep relationships that not only nourishes the lives of newcomers, but also enriches the lives of existing members. Everyone benefits. Zen teacher Uchiyama once observed, everything you encounter is yourself. That is because we are part of everything we encounter. we're always meeting ourselves in the form of the other. Without the other, we stagnate. We get locked into unhealthy systems and become deprived of the beauty, variety, and different perspectives that allow us to grow. The monks of the St. Benedict order know this well. They live by a spiritual ethos that teaches them to listen and be open to the spiritual wisdom that the world offers them. This means that they practice a hospitality towards strangers that might seem odd to us. They welcome everyone in their doors. They feed them, they listen to them. And their approach to strangers is one of invitation with the intention to listen to whatever that stranger offers. After all, they perceive that any stranger could be a holy teacher. And this is the spiritual nature of radical welcome. But let's get real for just a minute. There's a rather large elephant in the room. We're a small, mostly all-white congregation in a highly conservative area. I get it. There aren't a lot of others out there to begin with, unless you want to consider the white right-wing conservatives as the other. Yeah. So why do we even need to talk about this stuff? I don't foresee a time when we will ever attract large numbers of people of color. Small handful maybe. But would we even know how to welcome them if they ever came? Would we know how to help them feel they are an integral part of our community rather than just a token? I had a UU friend years ago who once explained to me that one of the 5 black members of our congregation of about 180 was, quote, just like us and not really black because he acted white. I remember feeling my heart sink at that moment. Radical welcoming does not translate into assumed assimilation to the dominant culture. We still have far to go. It's possible that we could attract some people from the LGBTQ plus community and perhaps a smattering of people with other marginalized identities, but the possibility of attracting low numbers of people doesn't mean we shouldn't do the work. It doesn't mean that we should let numbers dictate how we choose to be in the world. If we truly want to live our values and own who we claim to be, then we need to acknowledge that there is a gap between our aspiration of being welcoming and the reality of our practices. We need to learn some new ways of being, I think. To help us understand what we need to do next in order to live into this vision of radical welcome, I want to offer you a framework developed by Episcopal theologian Stephanie Spellers that outlines 3 stages of welcoming in congregations. The first phase is called the inviting phase. A congregation that is inviting is basically saying, come, join our community, share our culture and our heritage. And the goal here is assimilation. The community invites new people to enter and adopt the dominant identity. And in this environment, systems and programs are in place to invite and incorporate newcomers into existing structures and identity. Those who do not assimilate are rejected or further marginalized. And the result is that there tends to be a healthy numbers, perhaps some with members who claim a marginal identity, but the institution and its membership is overwhelmingly monocultural. I would say a majority of UU congregations believe they are welcoming, but in reality, they're very much in the inviting phase. Subconsciously, there's often an expectation that the other will assimilate into the group or congregational culture. We simply assume that newcomers, especially those from marginalized identities, will magically adapt to our way of doing things. We welcome others into our space, but only if they play by our rules and fit into our culture. Those who don't are often never fully welcomed, and they will always be seen as outsiders and not part of the beloved community. The second phase of welcoming is inclusion. A congregation in this phase says, "Welcome, help us to be diverse." The goal of inclusion is incorporation. The community welcomes marginalized groups, but no true shift happens in the congregation's cultural identity and practices. There's a stated commitment to inclusivity, but there's less attention given to ongoing programs for change or systemic analysis of power. The emphasis is mostly on individual efforts to become welcoming rather than system-wide. This phase often results in having a revolving door with people from margins coming in with a sense of hope, maybe finally finding a place to truly feel at home, only to be disappointed and leave a short time later after realizing nothing has really changed. The institutional structure remains monocultural. I think this is the phase that UUFE is in right now. But finally, the third congregation phase is that of radical welcome. In this phase, we say, bring your culture, your voice, your whole self. We want to engage in a truly mutual relationship. So the goal of radical welcome phase is becoming a community that embodies and expresses the full range of voices and gifts present, including the other. In such a congregation, systems and programs are already in place. If you build it, they will come. Systems and programs are already in place to invite and welcome people, including those from the margins or who are different, and to ensure that these new practices, these new perspectives, gifts, and values influence the congregation's overall identity. The result is a transformed and transforming community with open doors and open hearts, where different groups share power, shape identity, mission, leadership, worship, and ministries. Radical welcome. It's a culture shift. And it's hard work. Some will balk. This is not the work, not the UUism many signed up for 20, 30, 40 years ago. But this is our task now. And it's not a task that we complete once and then check a box. It's an ongoing process. It's a process of growth and development, and one that will continue to energize and sustain this community for generations to come. As we move forward in our future together, I encourage us to develop an intentional, action-oriented plan that will enable us to grow in our potential as a radically welcoming congregation, and may that be so. We're over, so I think I'll forgo the last hymn, and we'll just move right along to the chalice lining, chalice extinguishing. If you'll join me, the words are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. May the love we have breathed in these moments together take root in our hearts, widening our circle of care, guiding our steps toward welcome. May the peace of this time remind us and remain with us so that every soul we meet is a doorway to the holy. Go forth in love and let your radical welcome be real. Go in peace. Let's eat.
Deb, I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed your solo. And as I said, that was just yeah, well, at one point you said, yeah.